So any words that they asked the 18-year-olds to spell that you didn't know?
You know, that's going to happen this year. I saw the list this year, and that's really going to happen. So, you know, I mean, I'm sharpening up, and I'm doing some research on some of these words.
I often thought if I was moderating a spelling bee, what happens if there was a word that I didn't know?
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
I know. I was just going to say that.
The words are pretty tough this year.
They are, huh?
Yeah, we went away from the script, and we got some pretty tough words.
Good.
So, you know.
And the kids who don't do well in the spelling bee, sometimes they're hurt, but there's a message there that says, "Hey, keep trying," right?
Well, you know, it's an ongoing thing. We never give up on them, and we want to encourage them to do better always, and we try to get them to do their best at all times. And we don't let any child walk away without receiving something. We give them all back to school packages. We make sure they get a prize, they get some type of consolation for all the good effort that they've put out. And the parents have been very supportive in this particular program, and they've always continually applied their kids to come back to the spelling bee. And you know, they get their churches and their different community groups that they may be in, and they spread the word. So,
you know, what about programs for parents?
We have a family strengthening program that we implemented this year, as well as our at all our after school programs. We have parent groups, and in all our parent groups, we partnered with Prevention Links, who does family strengthening for our parents. Because one of the key things to solve any issues that you're having with youth is you really need to get the family involved. And the session is done part with the family and part with the parents and part with the youth. And at the end of the evening, they come together. And that right now is currently taking place at Safe Haven, and it will go on throughout the summer at our new location down at the Arabella.
And Dan, what do you find when you pick up the kids from curfew? What about the parents? Angry we picked them up, or what do you think?
The emotions run from one extreme to the other. But after the counseling and the parents realize why we were picking their child up, that we're not out there to punish them, that we are out there to find out why they're there and offer some help, the attitudes do change. You know, it's a partnership. And a lot of times we find with the kids that are out that late, the weak link in the partnership is not the kid, but the parent. We need stronger parents, and that's why the programs that Stan's run, that the city is running, these parenting programs are so important. They may not see the signs there when they're doing it. We may not see the signs at 1 o'clock in the morning because those kids are not the ones that we find. And it's important what they're doing with the parents. That's the weak link. It wasn't being addressed, and now it's being addressed.
Now, if someone wants to reach out to you, Dan, or the police juvenile office, where would they call? 558-2101 is the main juvenile number. My number is 527-7836 if you want to speak to me directly. But if you have a complaint about curfew, if there's a location in the city that you see kids are gathering without their parents, I'm not talking about the front stoop, but I'm talking about the street corners, 558-2111. That's a non-emergency number for communications and dispatch. They'll relay it to our teams of officers, and we'll address the issue. And people want to get in touch with the Office on Youth, Stanley, where would they go?
They can come to City Hall Office G3, or they can call us at 908-820-4032, or they can also email me at sneron@elizabethnj.org.
Good. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us on the show this evening. I hope you have a very nice and enjoyable summer, and look forward to seeing you at the Spelling Bee as well as working with the kids in the program. And thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank
you.
For Lieutenant Dan Sonir and Stanley Neron, please stay with us after these messages. We'll be back with more about the farmers market here in the city of Elizabeth. Welcome back to our city. I'm pleased to be joined in the second half of the show by Dave Strojack of the Elizabeth Avenue Partnership and Sam the Spiceman Purdurnski of Herbs, Health, and Homeopathy.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. Got your last name right, too.
Yes.
I'm doing good. Dave, we'll start off with you. The farmers market opened up last week, and what can we expect to see at the Elizabeth Farmer Markets on Tuesday here in our city?
Once again, we're coming back for our 5th season this year, and we have 2 great farmers from Chester, Allstead Farms and Stony Hill Farms. We also have a relatively new addition, Sam the Spiceman from Herbs, Health, and Homeopathy, and he'll tell you about his organic products and spices and teas, and he's been a great addition to our market. So we got 25 weeks of selling Jersey Fresh produce in the city of Elizabeth again from June through the end of November. Throughout the summer, we'll have children's events on Tuesdays, 8 weeks through the summer. We'll have some music. We'll have strawberry smoothies. We'll have
They're good.
giveaways. Yeah, they're going to have. They had those last week at the
Yeah, they're
opening
good.
with Secretary of Agriculture. And we're going to have some great events, and we'll have cooking demonstrations and a moonbounce for the children. Like I said, some music and some nice events. So it'll be a nice place to come out once again for the community.
And Dave, before, since we're talking about farmers market, before I go to Sam, everyone wants to know, were Jersey farmers afflicted by the recent salmonella problems of tomatoes? Because tomatoes are a big thing here in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. The Department of Agriculture released a statement last week that the Jersey tomatoes were not affected by it. They were tomatoes from other states, Florida, some from Mexico. The Jersey tomatoes are still on the ground. They're still growing. We have greenhouse tomatoes right now, and our tomatoes will be out by the end of July. So, no, the Jersey tomatoes were not affected, so come on out and feel free to buy all the tomatoes you want.
So the ones in my yard are okay?
Yes. We're okay.
Sam the Spice Man, self-given nickname, or did somebody you work with?
I was anointed by Dave here. I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be on the show. I want to thank you, and I want to thank Dave and the Elizabeth Avenue Partnership. And I'm sure you're all curious why I came.
Well, I was going to ask you. First, I wanted to hear the nickname story, but now I would like to know. Tell us a little bit about.
Well, it rhymes. It's just I'm good at
does.
these kind of things, and it rhymes, and it's.
So tell us about the herbs, health, and homeopathy.
Well, like a lot of people that use alternative medicines, tried alternative pathways to health, I have a story which the amount of time here is too short. Everyone is welcome to come down to the market and to talk to me about it. And I found out, like a lot of people, that nutrition is very important to your health, to mine also. And I gained a lot of experience and knowledge over the years. I must give a proviso: I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not licensed in any way in these matters. But I have a lot of experience, and I work with people who are. And I share that knowledge with a lot of my customers, and a lot of the customers, they know what they're looking for in any event. And I provide it to them. I did come to Elizabeth because Elizabeth has, as you know, a large Latino community. And the Latino community is extremely health conscious. For one thing, they understand the value of fresh fruits and vegetables. And therefore, they are a main buyer in the farmers market because they know.
Unlike the rest of us who will go to Burger King and Wendy's, right?
Exactly. And they know that this produce was fresh picked. So it had the opportunity to ripen on the vine, which means it had the opportunity to mature, and the nutrients are fuller in that fruit. And the products that I sell are also, they're grown and they're tested. And this is a complement, actually, to the other products, because you start to cook it and you want it to taste good and have a good flavor. This is a good way to do it. Not only are these products good for flavor, but they also have health value. For instance, let's talk about some of these teas. Okay, the green teas like the jasmine tea or the Chinese green tea, everyone knows they're full of antioxidants. They have a great flavor. For instance, this is one that a lot of women are aware of. This is a red raspberry leaf tea. This tea comes out to be very sweet. It's also a very thick tea, and it's a tremendous female tonic. Many women are familiar with it. And the way you make a tea, it's not simple. It's just something you have to be educated about. The recently Time magazine wrote an article about this. If you notice that these teas, they're all, you see the leaves.
Well, they're not in bags.
Right, they're not in bags.
So how do you make tea?
Without bags, right. But there's also, you have to see the leaves. And that's a value, because the leaves that you buy in these tea bags, what they really do is they take these leaves and they powder them.
Ground them up, right?
Or it's worse. What you do is they get the things that break off. They're called the fannings. The little pieces that break off that are in the bins, and they put that in the bag, and you don't get the full flavor and you don't get the nutrition from the tea. What you do is you take something like this. This is a tea ball. I also sell tea bags, which are empty, which you can fill with the leaves themselves. And the best way to make a tea, most leaves, as most people know, the best way to make the tea is not to stick it in boiling water, but you put the leaf in the tea ball, you put the tea ball in a cup, you boil the water separately, pour the boiling water on top of the tea, and you let it sit for 20 minutes.